Hi, it's Laurie at Sew Right Sewing Machines, and today I wanted to show you a little tutorial about rope bowls. It's been trending for a while, and I know a number of you have started or made them already, but one of the nice things that you have, and you might not have considered, is how to zhuzh it up a little. And one way, beyond wrapping fabric, beyond using decorative stitching around the zigzag, is creating an embroidery design at the base. I chose a heart shape for this particular project. I wanted to do a little more. So I wanted to show you something that is achievable and not achievable. So let me show you the unachievable first. I want to reiterate, this is my happy project. This is my sad project. And let me tell you a little story behind my sad project. This is supposed to be a squirrel. And he apparently is very dense. So you can see a lot of the embroidery lines go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. The machine was not happy with my squirrel, even though I edited out a number of stitches and color counts. My machine still was not happy. So when you choose a design to embroider on the base of the bowl, make sure it's not so dense that the machine balks and becomes unhappy. And then you become unhappy. Because I can't rip this out, so I have to start all over again. So it's really key to select a fine design, like a line design, a red work design, a low density design when you consider embroidering on the base of a heavy, thick rope. Okay? All right. So what do we do? How do we go about doing it? What you're going to do first is you're going to start creating the base of your bowl. Okay? So you're going to take your rope. This is a 3/16 inch rope. I have this rope here at Sew Right. I love it. It's dense, it's soft, yet firm so that you can lean things against it. It's not going to collapse on you. There is a zigzag project rope bowl book that I highly recommend, and I will be teaching a class in this. So I have all these products here in the store. Once you create or begin creating your base, you're going to stop at a certain point because I don't really want to make a huge bowl. I want to make a small one. So I have stopped at the point where I'm going to begin building my bowl upwards. I'm not going to cut the rope. I'm going to keep the rope intact with my base. So now we've got to go to the embroidery machine. But how do I set up my rope bowl base and the machine? The first thing you're needing to do is you're going to need a perfect stick tearaway. So what I will do now is I am going to score this tearaway so that the sticky adhesive part is exposed. Then I'm going to lay my rope onto the base and hold it in place by giving it a firm pat down. Okay, so how do I score this? I take a pin. I'm making sure that I have it on the right way. There's a shiny side and a matte side to the perfect stick, I'm calling it, adhesive. So I'm making sure the matte side is facing the base of my embroidery hoop. I'm going to now score it with a pin. Making sure I don't go too far in with it so that I'm just lifting up the sticky part. Okay, see, now it's nice and shiny underneath. So I'm going to rip it all the way. And if you make an X, it's kind of easy because it kind of gives you a clean ripping line or tearing line. If I left this part on, it's okay because my bowl is not going to get that far in terms of the extent of my embroidery design. All right. I think I want to draw a center access just so I make sure that I've got my bowl positioned kind of in the middle of where I want to be. So I'm going to use the marks on the hoop itself just to give me like a crosshair line. I'm using the notches on the hoop itself. Pretty good, good enough. Okay, now I'm going to lay my base on that. I'm going to kind of use this as my central poking point, pinning point to get the middle part here. Okay. All right, so I've kind of firmly planted it in the middle of my XY axis of the hoop. So I'm just going to press down on it. And it should stick. Because of the density of the rope, I'm concerned that my embroidery thread's going to sink into it, so it doesn't look like it's, you know, visibility in terms of a design might be affected. So I'm going to take some water-soluble topper that I've cut, and I'm going to lay that right on top of my bowl. But you know what I would like to do before that? I'm going to mark a little XY axis too, because once I get to the machine, I want to position it so that my design is in the center. And I will rub away these markings when I'm done with my design, okay? Now I'm going to put my topper on. So I'm going to just kind of gently press that down too. That kind of ensures that my rope won't bounce up and down once I start sewing. Okay, now we'll go over to the machine. And we're going to continue with our rope bowl making project. We're going to be continuing making this embroidered theme on the base of a bowl. We'll replicate what we did here, okay? What I am now doing is I'm prepping for the project. I have put in, as I mentioned at the other counter, the perfect stick, the rope, the topper, the water-soluble topper, and then I've marked everything, the center crosshatch marks. I am going to be doing all of the embroidery on the Brother Luminaire XP3 because it's a great machine with some great features that I'm going to show you as we embroider. So first things first, let's choose the design. I've set up the hoop and I've put it in the embroidery module, so that's all set up, okay? But now we have to put that embroidery design onto our rope. So I am going to select, of all these menu options, I'm going to select menu 1. And I am going to scroll through to number 13 because that's where the heart design lives. So here we go. It's got a bird. And I'm going to open that folder. I'm going to scroll down, and I believe our heart design is number 63. So I'm going to touch it, and then I'm going to hit set. What I'm going to do now is experiment with the size. Let's see how it looks on our rope bowl, and that's one of the cool features we're going to see as I prepare and audition. So here we are. We're ready to embroider. I want to see where it's going to live on my rope bowl, so I'm going to hit this cone. And we're going to get a preview of how it's going to actually look in the embroidery field. The cone that I depressed on the screen projects the image of the actual embroidery design in the size that I designated. So it previews where it will sit on my embroidery design field. So right now, as it's projected, I've got the heart not exactly centered on my rope bowl. Maybe I want to move it more towards the center. So I have over here the options to manipulate and move my design down. And I think I'm happy with this size of the design, but I am a little concerned about the stitch density. So I might want to make it a little bit bigger to accommodate the issues that I might have given that I've got this dense rope I'm sewing with. So I may say okay, but then I'm going to hit return. I'm going to hit return because I'm going to start over again. I'm going to edit and see, this is the size as it is now. I think I'm going to bump it up a little bit. And then we can edit again. We can use a projector and see what happens. Okay, so I'm going to hit size. And I want to keep it all equally proportional. So I'm going to choose this. The arrow is pointing out. And I increase it a little bit. I might increase it this amount. I don't know why. I just feel like 3 little bumps up might do it. So I'm going to hit OK. I'm going to hit embroider because we're ready to embroider. And in the embroidery mode, I can use a projector. I can't do it in the edit mode. So we can go back and forth between the edit screen and the embroidery screen until I'm happy with how it looks on my rope base. So we're going to get another preview. What's kind of cool too, it dims the sewing light so that we can see the projection lights. All right, that doesn't look bad. So I think I'm going to keep it that size. I might center it a little bit, but I think I'm okay with this. So I'm going to hit the word OK. All right, we are ready. See how the projection light go away now. We are ready to sew. Okay, there's one other area of setup that I'd like to do, and it's I want to slow down the speed of the embroidery. Just in case I run into any complications, I have control over it and I can stop it right away to address any issues. Hopefully I've addressed them beforehand by getting a fresh needle. Again, using a jeans needle rather than an embroidery needle because this rope is pretty thick. So I would like to slow down the embroidery speed. That way I can address any issues right away without the machine running away from me. So I'm going to hit this reference book here. And I am going to scroll through until, oh, it's right here. Right now it's set at the maximum embroidery speed. So I'm going to hit this. I'm going to slow it down to the lowest speed, 350 stitches per minute. Okay, so now we're down there. I'm going to hit OK. All right, we are ready to go. We're all threaded up. I've got this, and I've got to put my foot down. And the green light is on. And let's start stitching. I'm just stopping because I want to get rid of this little thread. Put the foot back down and start the process again. That perfect stick is working pretty well in terms of keeping my rope pole base centered on my hook. It doesn't matter if the topping begins to crinkle a little bit because that's all going to wash out. Design. And because I slowed the speed down, it's going to take me 13 minutes to stitch this out. I think at normal speed it's probably at least twice as fast. Well, our design is done. Let's take it out of the machine. Actually, it looks great. With the topper on it, the stitches are resting nicely right on top of that rope. I removed the design from the embroidery module, and here it is. I think the results are really nice. The size of the design balances on the base of the rope bowl. The stitch out's great. I'll have to see what happens once I take it off of the perfect stick and get the topper off. But the balance on the back is nice. That we've got a majority of the bobbin thread showing here. So I'm going to continue on the process of making this bowl as I've got it still attached to the spool of rope I have here. Thank you for joining me today. Call us at Sew Right. If you have any questions about this project or anything else sewing related, we're here to help you. Thank you. Bye.